Hey YouTube, welcome back. So today I thought I would do a little Q&A chat about my romance book that just came out. That is a romance novel called Witchway to Romance. I know it's punny and funny. So my book is about a coven of witches that are fighting a demon-possessed pussycat who, there are mysterious time-traveling magics escaping from hell. What's going to happen? What kind of romance is going to occur? Oh. It's a little saucy. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a playful romance book. And, it's not filled with horror and torture and, it's playful. It's a playful romance. But one thing I always get asked about is the idea of reading, right? And oh, I don't want to read, I have to read for school, I have to read for work. Reading's not fun. And I love reading when I'm reading for fun, when I'm reading silly, playful things. I love reading romances. Romance books are my favorite genre, bar none. I love reading a lot of things. I love reading nonfiction, I love reading all sorts of fiction genres, but romance is always a genre I come back to because I love happy, loving, fun, playful, adventure-filled romance, right? It's just fun to read. And I think part of getting people to read, myself included, is making it a fun experience, right? Nobody wants to read poorly written drivel or boring subjects. It's fun to read something that entertains you and is a quick, short read, right? Something that you don't have to spend weeks and weeks finishing. So one of the top questions I get is balancing time. How do I multitask and write? That is really hard. In the last year, I've started writing again and getting my books published, and it's been really hard to set aside the time. What I do is I will nurse my son and I will write at the same time. When he's napping, I'll write and edit. If he can get distracted and play for 20 minutes, I'll write and edit. And it's about small segments of time and editing and writing. And when I really need to do a big technical edit, sometimes I stay up after my son goes to sleep at night and I sacrifice some sleep and I get, maybe a 2-hour chunk of good solid editing when I need to do continuity and spell check and grammar, make sure it's all working and, is everything capitalized where it should be, and does this sentence make sense with this paragraph? But it's about carving out small little chunks of your time to make it possible for you to create something while you're being a parent. I work full-time and I parent full-time, and that is not easy. And mainly how I do that is carving out sections of time. When my son just wants to watch Octonauts on his iPad and be mellow and cuddle, then that's something that on my, right hand, I can look at my computer and get a little bit of typing done. Sometimes I'll do voice to text, and that will help me get a couple paragraphs written. But it's about realizing that I can no longer, at least right now with a 3-year-old, spend 4 to 6 hours a day getting some kind of work done straight. Because I have to be able to break it up and still stay focused and bring that continuity through of whatever project I'm working on, still being able to finish it piecemeal, but have the whole piece be just as good. And that takes practice, it takes motivation. That's why I thought this would be a fun video to do. Is I like to watch motivation, self-help videos on YouTube. Things that talk about creative types, right? When you're trying to make something, you're trying to write a book or write a blog post or paint something or create something, how to stay focused, and that it's not easy. That's okay, it's not easy, but there are ways to make it more streamlined and more of an accomplishment that you can actually get to and finish and hit the finish line. Second question I always get is ideas. I get this question constantly. Where do you come up with the ideas for your romance books? Because some of my romance books are a little naughtier than others, right? But they're all right to the nine. You know what? The answer I always give, which is the true answer, is that they just pop into my head. I have a funny little mind. It comes up with the stuff. I might see something somewhere and be like, oh, that makes me think of this. I should do this story. Over the holidays last year, I published a short novella that was a holiday romance story. And that just came about of thinking about, oh, I've never read any Hanukkah holiday romance stories. I've read a lot of Christmas romance or erotica books. I've never read anything about Hanukkah. So I thought I would do a funny and playful and consensual, nothing dark and weird, romance book that took place around Hanukkah, and that was just a fun thing that popped into my noggin, and I wrote during the summer, actually, because I kind of had to write ahead of time going, oh, I'm going to be really busy with my nonfiction work that came out in the fall. So it just popped into my noggin. But it's all about balance and staying focused and realizing what's my end goal. My end goal is not to be miserable and upset and ignore my son so that I can meet a deadline 2 or 3 weeks earlier than I wanted. Witchway to Romance, it took me a little bit longer to edit and write than I thought it was going to. And in previous projects that I've worked on, previous books, those last 3 kisses, those last 10 pounds, those have all been books where I really, really pushed myself and I stressed myself out, and I could tell that I wasn't spending focused time with my son like I should be. And so with this book, Witchway to Romance, I paused and I went, it's okay for it to take a little bit longer. Mellow out and calm yourself. Quality of life over quantity of content, right? That's important as a creative person. Ooh, long title right there. Boom. So you can do it. If you are a single parent and you want to make something, you want to create something awesome, you can absolutely dig out 20-minute sections of your day here and there and write, or make a book cover, or make a website, or start a small business. You can do it. You just have to understand that you aren't going to get those big chunks of time that you used to pre-parenthood. Stay motivated, stay focused. Nothing happens overnight, I always love the saying, I was an overnight sensation. It only took me 20 years. And I've heard people give different amounts of time for that. But it's true, is all the effort that goes into it is what you're putting in now. And the rewards can be both immediate of doing something that you love and getting to express yourself artistically, and long term where maybe you're making enough income off of it to be able to support your children, or you can go on that vacation with the money, or buy presents for your family. I know one lady who is fabulous and does a little bit of side business, and she just uses it to buy her husband and kids presents, right? And it makes her happy. And that can be measured on your own terms, and there's no timeline criteria that you've got to meet. So until next time, feel free to check out Witchway to Romance. The link is in the description box. Oh yeah. Feel free and check out my Patreon if you haven't already. Awesome exclusive content over there. Pretty darn fun. So until next time, thank you all so much for joining along, following along, and being inspired along with me to make things, create things, and still be creative even though we're being parents, and staying focused on making sure we're raising happy, wonderful little ones. So until next time.